Meanwhile, there will be increasing penalties for the emissions to the atmosphere of carbon dioxide from fossil stock. James Hansen, in his testimony before Congress just a couple of days ago, called for possible litigation to companies whose strategy had led to the disinformation in order to protect their profitability. Let me say this to you. In this crisis, we will move into a situation where litigation is appropriate for continued emission of fossil carbon dioxide that adds to the stock and threatens our survival. Yes, the profitability of your whole company may depend on doing that, but you are at risk. Your shares will go down the spout. Your whole future as a company is in jeopardy. You are a dinosaur from yesterday. And the future belongs to the little mammals who emerge into the light. Rewards not just for the emergence of renewable sources, but for the removal of the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere in which they're already over the limit. What a challenge. And the technologies for doing that already exist. Looks a bit like this. The emergence from darkness into light with a crossover period, and to do that in the fastest possible time. The technologies and that, and the details I won't touch into this morning, but a lot of that is now available. I'll simply say that is, if you like, the strategy for solving the problem. How on earth can we do? Remember we saw the images from James Lovelock in the video interview in the forum just a couple of days back now. And James was saying we've passed the tipping point in the global system, and there's nothing else we can do about it. There are going to be some surviving species, but basically it's the end. I know James fairly well, and I've sat actually in that chair in his study that we saw him speaking from, and we had some time together. James's understanding of the climate system is brilliant. His understanding of Gaia interactivity and the life support systems, supreme, a genius. And by the way, he's a technical genius as well. Some of his inventions are currently on Mars, measuring atmospheric chemical composition. But James is a strange animal, totally unwanted child, for whom social interaction has always been difficult. And when Boo described the almost paradisical house that he has in this lovely hidden valley in Devon, it's a retreat from humanity. James's being in favour of the nuclear option comes actually from his rage at the thought of a wind farm being on a hill that he could see. That's the motivation. And any sense of invasion of his deep, secluded, private space brings out a reaction. He has no faith whatsoever in human systems being able to respond to this problem. I think it's slightly different from that. The human spirit has immense resilience. We know we can solve problems when we're faced with them. We can get to this. It is not a question that the structures we have are incapable of making decisions and responding in a crisis. We can do it. I do not accept the sociological pessimism that says it's now impossible because we only see the performance of the monolithic structures that we have. I remember that when Yves Deboer was speaking to the business community on the 11th of December in Bali, he said what we have to do is to turn round the supertanker of investment. And I thought, supertankers take about 22.5 miles to stop in an emergency. They're a bit inert. And they've got one brain, the master, in that tiny little tower at the back, dictating where they go. And they are full of hydrocarbons. You turn them round and put them somewhere else. They just deliver the hydrocarbons somewhere else. We often see our human institutions as supertankers. Inert, dinosaur, rigid, difficult to change direction. But human institutions are made of people. They're only inert because we project authority into the institution and give it power over us. What we have to do today is to deconstruct the dinosaurs and to move from the supertanker to the shoal. Shoals can respond very quickly. They can respond to threat and they work together. The signals that go between the fish are almost instantaneous. In technical terms, it's the move from rigid systems of command and control to the flexibilities and resilience of complex systems, systems of complexity, of multiple parallel processing, of distributed intelligence, of people power, of the emergence of social ability to respond to the crisis almost instantaneously and globally. We can do it. We have the support structures and communication strategies, mobilization for lifestyle change. This is not an impossibility. It is only impossibility if you cannot imagine it and then make it happen. So I offer you from supertanker to shoal as the transition in enabling solutions for tomorrow's world. Yes, there exists a state of planetary emergency. That is not hyperbole. There does exist a state of planetary emergency. Planet Earth, we have a problem. But Gene Kranz's philosophy in the response to Apollo 13 was not to bring in some Swedish economist to work out the cost-benefit analysis of bringing 3 men back to Earth. He said, no, whatever it costs, this is a question of survival. Failure is not an option. Thank you very much indeed.